Devan Murugan. Good afternoon to you. And there's been a bit of an abrupt end to the TERS scheme, which was meant to stay in place, I understand, as long as the state of disaster was in place.
Yes, indeed, Sally, and it could have implications for what happens with business and the employees. So business lobby group, Business4 South Africa, is saying it's learned government will not extend the temporary employee relief scheme to cover applications beyond September. Now, the scheme was introduced in March to help employers in distress to provide wage benefits to employees via the Unemployment Insurance Fund. It was one of the main components, by the way, of President Cyril Ramaphosa's 500 billion rand COVID-19 relief package. Well, Robert Legh is from B4SA. He joins me now. Robert, thanks very much indeed for talking to us. I understood that there were discussions at Legh to potentially extend the scheme beyond September. It wasn't the case. This must have been a bit of a surprise for you. How did you learn about this?
Very much so, Devon. We have been meeting basically for the last month to explore the possibilities of extending the benefit. And from what we can see from the fund statistics, there are funds available that would cover us at least until the end of December. And we learnt about it through the sort of Legh processes on Friday afternoon. And it did come as a bit of a shock because basically we have been doing what the government has asked us to do, which is engage in social compacting and trying to work out mutually beneficial solutions. Yeah, it's very disappointing. I don't know whether you've seen today's COSATU statement, but they're also extremely angry about what's happened.
And one would understand why, because the core concern here is that the scheme would have provided a safety net for employees who were still not able to go back to work. You would argue this could affect business and employees quite dramatically going forward, I would imagine.
Absolutely, because it gives, you know, for some people, you know, the benefit is between 3,500 and 6,700 rand a month. And it's not a lot of money, but for many people that makes a big difference. It leaves employers high and dry, you know, the whole thing is designed to obviate the need for mass-scale retrenchment. And the logical thing for employers to do, if they can't pay their employees, is actually to retrench them, because they can then access fuller benefits under the UI system, and that'll actually put greater pressure on the UI system.
Robert, is the key issue here affordability when it comes to extending these benefits? What do you know about whether or not there are sufficient funds available to continue this?
Look, we've had a very careful look at it, and you know, basically as of Thursday evening, there was a consensus at Legh. It needed to go to the decision makers for a decision, because business and labour we don't make decisions over these monies, although they are worker monies, employee monies. You know, the consensus was that certainly from a liquidity perspective, there's something like 51 billion rand available in liquid assets in the fund, and the cost of maintaining the benefit would probably be about another 4 billion a month, so for the next 3 months. So there's definitely money available. It's not you know, there are definitely a balancing of interests, because there are concerns about very large-scale retrenchments being implemented and the fund having sufficient long-term reserves. But you know what, Devon, we're in a crisis that's 100 years, you know, 1 in a 100-year crisis. And you'd think that that's what these funds and reserves are available to help out in these circumstances. So we're very surprised and we're very disappointed, and we hope that this decision is reversed.
All right, so we'll have to wait to see what government tells us as the day progresses. Thanks very much indeed, Robert Legh there from B4SA. That's the Labour Work Stream.